Hi, and welcome to the Buzz with Busy Crochet. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm going to be speaking with Lisa Ferrel from My Fingers Fly today. And in just a minute, I'll bring her on camera. But I want to remind you that if you are watching on YouTube, that all of her information is going to be in the description box below. So you'll be able to find her later on. And also that you should click subscribe and notifications so that you know every time that I go live with a new artist. All right, I'm going to bring Lisa on camera now. Hi, Lisa, and welcome to the Buzz with Busy Crochet today. So good to have you here. All right, so we are going to... I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk with you today because you have been busy. I'm just going to turn my computer up just a little bit. Something I probably should have done a minute ago when we were just chitty-chatting. All right, so I want to know a little bit more about you, Lisa, about like where you're from. Tell us about who you are, what's your family like, that kind of stuff.
Native Texan. I've traveled the country, lived all over. But yeah, I always come back to Texas. Currently Laredo.
Okay.
I grew up in the Houston area, Galveston area. Spent a lot of my life in San Antonio and got an opportunity for my husband's job to move to Laredo last year. So we've been here almost a year.
Wow, that's crazy. So for those of us that are not terribly familiar with the state of Texas, where is Laredo?
Laredo is go to San Antonio and turn south and go 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
So are you like right on the border then?
Yes.
Okay. Do you get to go across the border and go shopping and stuff?
Yes.
Because my grandparents used to vacation in an RV place down there when they were in their 60s and 70s. And that was one of the things is they would always go across the border and buy like the Mexican blankets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's cool that you have that available to you. So tell us about your family.
We have a blended family of 5 children, but we are now empty nesters. They're all out of the house with their own children. Eight grandchildren total for now.
Wow. That's
and they're
awesome.
scattered all over the state also.
Oh, but they're all in Texas?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I know that Texas is one of those states that you can drive through for days to get to places.
Yes.
So it's not like, oh, they're all in Texas, so they're all super easily accessible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right, so let's talk about crochet a little bit. When did you learn?
I learned the basics when I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I didn't get into it much because my dad had taught me how to knit. And I liked that better at the time. My grandma taught me how to do a granny square, and that kind of got boring. I didn't do it much. I was more into sewing, actually. My mom made all of our clothes and taught me how to make clothes. So I really loved to sew. Then when I was about 20, 21, I had a coworker that taught me how to read a crochet pattern. And that just opened up a whole new world.
Yes, isn't it crazy how you can learn stitches, but once you learn how to actually read the patterns, it just like, it goes crazy.
Yeah. And then there was no stopping me. Everyone's birthday, everything, Christmas, everything was crocheted.
That's awesome. It's funny how it becomes an obsession almost like right away.
Yeah.
Because that was the same thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
So what was your first project that you remember making?
The first one I remember finishing was a granny square when I was 16. It was a blanket for my horse.
Oh, okay. And so, how long did you keep that for? Was it something that you ended up having to get rid of because it was for an animal at one point, or?
I don't even remember what happened to it.
So what was the next thing you made then?
Probably, when I learned to read patterns, I had a 1-year-old at the time. Okay. So it was probably something for her, a baby sweater.
Yeah, I think that's where I started too, is I found things for my daughter because she was 3 at the time. So what do you think made you want to start designing?
I always did it. I always did it for my girls. I would you find a pattern and it's not right, and you tweak it, and I would design something. They had a babysitter that they went to, and she would have a Christmas Eve party for them.
Mhm.
So I would make gifts, and I would usually do something unique, but it would be all the same for all the kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I just never wrote them down. Uh,
Okay.
and then I finally decided, well, I'm going to write these down and share them with other people.
About when did you start doing that? Do you feel like it was, right away or
No, no, no. It was about 8 years ago.
okay, so that's not bad. I mean, so did you start with, like, amigurumi, or did you
Yes.
start with clothing kind of items?
Well, the first one I started with was my horny toad. It
Okay.
was an amigurumi, only because I love horny toads. Um,
Are
uh,
they're a big thing in Texas, right?
yes, they're very big in Texas. And that was the first one that I designed to publish.
Okay.
And then I went into the baby. I started making a lot of baby sweaters. And I did a line of take your child to work day sweaters.
Oh, fun.
So there's a baby firefighter, a baby policeman, a baby construction worker, all of those.
Really? Oh my
Yes.
gosh, is that fun? Um, so, like, now was it ones where you made adults own as well, or was it just baby sweaters available?
Um, I did that. Started off with the baby sweaters. Then I did a line of toddler sweaters, and I did more amigurumi. And
Mm.
um, anytime there's a Christmas comes up, I do an adult pattern for my sisters, for my
Mm.
mom. That's basically where my adult stuff comes from.
Okay.
One year I did a line of goofy hats, like a hat with horns for football fans. I did a beer mug
Yeah.
hat. It's just an eclectic collection of designs.
So, do you find that you enjoy making the stuffies more, or do you feel like you enjoy the clothing end of it more?
The stuffies are really fun.
They are.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree with that.
yeah.
They are super fun. Okay, so I guess what made you really want to be a designer? I mean, I know that you said that you've always kind of designed, but what made you feel like I think I'm going to write these down and I'm going to put them out and sell them?
At the time, I was working as a medical transcriptionist,
Okay.
and that I worked at home for years so that I could be there for the kids.
Mhm.
With the new inventions of voice recognition and all that, that job became more and more difficult to make money at, and
Oh,
fewer and fewer jobs. And I saw that coming, and I was still working, but I started thinking, well, for my retirement, maybe I need something with a residual income.
mhm.
And if you crochet items and do craft fairs, you can't do that. Your hands are always working. But if you're
Mhm.
selling patterns, you have a residual. So
Yes,
basically, it was my retirement plan. I know that it's a
that's really
joke.
smart.
My retirement plan is crochet, but mine really is.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really smart way to look at it, and being very realistic with yourself as far as, am I going to be able to keep up with production? Because a lot of people want to start out with, like, oh, I want to do craft fairs and I want to do this kind of stuff, but and after a while I think people get burned out because it's very hard to keep up with that on a long-term basis.
Mhm. It
So,
is, and I did a few craft shows and found that I don't have the salesman
yeah,
personality.
me either. I never did very well at them. Yeah, and I didn't want to make the same thing 27 times. It's
Right.
just I'm not a multi-producer.
Yeah.
So do you find that once you've created something, you're ready to move on and just do another
Yes.
thing? That's the
Yes.
same way I am.
I I'm I usually do 2 or 3 of that one
Yep.
just to make sure, along with my testers, to make sure that I'm working it with them and working the kinks out. And by the end of the second one, I'm bored.
I, same here. I'm absolutely the same. By the time that I make it 2 or 3 times, like, I'm done. I'm ready to move on now.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part of designing? Is it like the freedom of, in the mind? Is it the technical part of it? Is it the process?
Just that sense of accomplishment that I thought this up. I created. My husband laughs at me. He says that I can sit on the couch with a ball of yarn, and I'll tell him it's going to be such and such, and he'll say no way. And then the next day, it's like, oh, you did it.
Yes.
So it's that feeling of, oh, I made this. When I make something and I finish it and it makes me giggle.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great feeling.
Yeah, that is. I absolutely agree. And my dad always said that too. He's always been a really great supporter. And he's like, you turn string into things, you know? And he's like, I can't believe that this ball of nothing became that,
Mhm.
you know? So that's really awesome. How do you feel like your design aesthetic has changed as you've, learned and morphed and grown? How do you feel like from the beginning to now, how much have you really changed?
I I don't see a change.
Okay.
Um, no, I don't think so.
So you really kind of still touch all of the same things that you started with.
Right.
Because some people really start in one spot and then they're like, well, I want to pivot. I want to be something else, or I want to
Mhm.
do something else. And they find new loves along the way.
Oh, I do. I find new loves along the way, but I just incorporate them, and I have my list keeps growing and growing and growing.
Yeah. So do you have a specific niche that you feel like you're a part of, or are you kind of, it's whatever my heart wants to put out?
Um, I it's whatever my heart wants to put out, but I do try to focus more on things for babies and children, whether it's
Mhm.
clothing or amigurumi or blankets. Um, I love making anything for children.
Same here. I really lead more towards that just because they're smaller, they work up faster,
Yes,
and they make me happy because
and
I
they're
love
just so
toys.
cute.
They are. They're so darn cute, and everything's so pudgy.
uh,
Okay, so tell me about My Fingers Fly. How did you come up with your business name?
that came from also from doing medical transcription.
Oh,
That was my email address
really?
because I was a very fast typist.
Oh, that's awesome. It's kind of fun when you can bring part of what you did before and it just transitions over because a lot of people, they look at me like, oh my God, you crochet so fast. You're so fast. I don't know how to slow down. I'm sorry. But I mean, that's what it makes me think of is My Fingers Fly because, we crochet quickly.
Mhm.
How quickly do you feel like you produce your stuff? Because some people are like, "Oh my God, you just started that the other day. How come you're done with it already?"
Um, I'm not. Even though I'm a fast crocheter, I don't spend my whole day crocheting.
Mhm,
So my items don't go as quickly as some people do. Like someone who's crocheting for a craft show
mhm.
is just nonstop.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
I would say something like a sweater takes me 2 weeks, a blanket a month, where
Okay.
other people can do it faster. But my most of my day is online
Yeah.
with the Etsy shop or typing something or doing graphics
Mhm,
on Canva or something like that.
mhm.
And I don't actually get to physically crochet until the evening.
Yeah, same here. That's where I really do most of my work as well. Do you have any special projects? So we have a special one that you have coming up,
Yes.
which is
Crochet a Rainbow. Uh,
yes, and that is your new book.
yes.
That's so
It's a book of
exciting. Tell me about that.
all crochet patterns for rainbows. It's 16 patterns, which is a blanket, a sweater, um, a purse, a couple of amigurumi, some kitchen stuff. Everything is a rainbow.
Oh, that's fun. And I know that rainbows are super duper popular. Um, so is it's so then it has that kind of eclectic where you said your niche is kind of whatever makes you happy.
Mhm.
So you really are touching on all of those different topics within your
Yes.
book as well.
Yes.
That's great. And that comes out on the 23rd, correct?
23rd. Right.
Okay.
It's right now it's available for pre-order on Amazon.
Okay,
And it will go
pre-order on
live on the
Amazon.
23rd. Mhm.
All right. Where can we get it then though once it's not just available on Amazon?
Oh, it'll be everywhere. It'll be Amazon, Etsy, Ravelry, myfingersfly.com, Lovecrafts.
Okay, great. So all of the pattern platforms
Yes.
basically is where we'll be able to get this book.
Right.
All right, good. So do you have any outside projects? Let's talk about what we do charity wise. Like, is there anything that you sew into, or any kind of outside passion project that you have other than your business, or
That
includes your
is
business even?
well, that goes along with my business, yes. Because I have 2 or 3 items, prototypes that I make of every design, I have a lot left over at the end of the year.
Mhm.
I haven't located one in Laredo yet, but what I usually do is find a battered women's shelter and
Okay.
donate to Christmas gifts for the children because I have a lot of
Mm,
amigurumi. I have hats and sweaters and things like that. So
yeah.
yeah, I have to locate that in Laredo.
That was actually something when I lived in Wisconsin, that was, kind of a heart passion project for myself as well, was, a battered women's shelter, and we used to do that too with the slippers, and we'd make washcloths to add to their, home kits, and we would do the toys for the kids and all that stuff too. So I really love sewing into ministries like that, especially because they come out of such horrible situations, usually with nothing but what's on their back,
Right.
and they're all starting over, so I commend you, that's really honorable. Um, so we're gonna transition real quick into some fun questions about you. Um, do you have any favorite books or TV shows or movie genres that when you do get to sit down in the evening and work, that you like, it's your go-to?
Crime shows. I
Crime
love crime
shows.
shows. Whether it's true crime, whether it's Law and Order, love crime shows.
Same here. Oh, person after my own heart. I'm a lover of true crime and I do a lot of documentaries, but I also really enjoy, personally, I really like the BBC crime dramas. Have you ever watched any of
No, I haven't seen those.
those? Okay, well, I'll send you a whole list because they're so good. They're so good. My friend Debbie and I, we do another podcast, and part of what we talk about is like what true crime we're watching at the moment. So I love true crime stuff. And you said you are a multi-crafter, like you learned to knit. Is that something that you still do, or did you let that one go?
I don't knit very much.
Mhm.
I do. I will occasionally make a pair of socks for my dad. He likes to sleep in socks, and for Christmas I'll make him a pair. I do have 2 different sizes of Addy knitting machines, and I work on those quite a bit. I make
Oh, nice.
hats and amigurumi and things like that.
Mhm.
I occasionally, very rarely anymore, I used to quilt a lot, but I still do occasionally sew. And I have an embroidery machine that I still have yet to learn how to use.
Oh, okay. So you're
But
keeping
I'm
yourself
looking
really
forward to that.
busy.
Yeah.
Yes. What is your favorite place to craft?
Anywhere. No, usually sitting on the couch watching TV.
So, I mean, are you one though that will take a project with you in the car when you have to go places? Always having yarn with you?
Yes, always. We have a deal that we go to San Antonio probably once a month,
Okay.
whether to see the grandkids or see in-laws or see or go shopping or see a concert or something.
Mhm.
Um, and we have a deal. I drive there, he drives back.
Okay.
So I have to have a project on for the way back. If I'm
Absolutely.
flying, the project's got to be in my carry-on.
Okay. Oh, so you even take it on the plane.
Yes.
That's cool. All right. Have you ever run into any problems with TSA?
No, no, I haven't. I have a little pair of Fisker scissors that
Okay.
fold up, and they're TSA approved. And I have my little keychain uh, crochet hooks just in case.
Really? How okay, so tell me about those. I've never used them. How do they work as far as like, comfort?
They're not comfortable because they're so short, but
Yeah.
they're great for an emergency.
Okay. So like if
You
you've
know,
got to
you
crochet.
think that you put your hook in the yarn and it didn't get there and it fell out, and you're at a friend's house and you need to crochet.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes. Yes, and that would be a great resource to have. I've never actually tried them, but I have a friend who bought some, and I was like, "How does one work though?" So, like, how would those work? So,
Yeah.
what is your favorite crafting snack? Like, what do you like to munch on, or do you have a favorite drink?
Hot tea. I usually have hot tea with me at all times.
Okay.
I don't eat while I craft. I don't.
I don't either. I'm a water drinker too.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, the big thing that I really want to know about is you just traveled recently
Hmm.
to I want to say a fashion show, a
Yes.
fiber arts fashion show. Can you
Hmm.
please tell us about that?
It was the Gathering Threads Festival in Edmonton. It was 3 days of everything fiber, uh,
Mhm.
vendors, and Friday night was a fashion show. Saturday and Sunday were activities and vendors and yarn everywhere. Um, I bought so much yarn that I almost couldn't get it home in my suitcase.
Oh my gosh.
um, but yeah, I like to travel and I like to buy a yarn everywhere I go and then make
Mhm.
something out of that yarn and then put it together for my blog and make a travel video with it.
Oh, fun.
So I'm going to have quite a few projects from the Edmonton trip.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
So, when you buy yarn, is it like local distributors? Is it hand dyed? Is
Hand
it like
dyed
what kind of
local.
yarn do you get?
Yeah, there were that I counted. So that I counted, there were 4 local dyers
Okay.
that have shops there, and then a 5th one um, that I didn't. She sold out, so I have to order from her. It's an indigenous company.
Oh, yeah.
They buy musk ox fiber.
Really?
There's a law in Canada that only indigenous tribes can hunt the musk ox.
Mhm.
Well, the hunters use the meat
Mhm.
and they sell her the pelts and
Mhm.
she creates yarn.
Neat.
And oh, it was like cashmere. It was just so
Is
soft and
it?
so
Oh,
pretty.
wow.
So I'm going to
Wow.
order some of that and make something. But I bought
Well,
from 3 other local ones that
mhm.
I've got to make something also.
All right. Cool. And you had actually said that you had to take your designs up there. So tell us how you got into this. Like what was your procedure?
There's a Facebook group for designers that I'm in
Mhm.
that they posted they need designers for this show.
Mhm.
I submitted 3 of my items. They got
Mhm.
approved.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, and it was just amazing. I took my designs up there. Um, we had mine were not clothing, so I didn't have to worry about fittings.
Okay.
But the day of the show, I showed up, and the stylist had already decided what the what model would wear my items and what
Mhm.
clothing they would wear to match them.
Okay.
And it was just amazing.
So you were the only American artist up there though, right?
Yes.
That's really cool. Thank you for representing. But so tell us, like you said you had some samples to show us. What did you take up there?
Yes, this was last year, right before Mother's Day. You know, you get those Facebook ads, what you're going to buy mom for
Yeah.
Mother's Day. And
Yeah.
there was one that was a designer name purse. And the
Okay.
purse was $1,500 and it was hand crocheted. And I'm like, I can do that. So I went to Hobby Lobby the next day and this cost me $50. And this
Oh,
is
that
my
is the cutest thing. I
designer
love
purse.
it.
And see if I can get it with a light. With multicolored flowers all over it.
Yes, I love that. That's really cute. For
And
$1,500 they were selling that, huh?
yes, yes. And
Wow.
yeah, probably from an India sweatshop.
Right?
Yeah.
I hate that so much.
And then this was a design I had originally designed in white and red for my mom for Christmas.
Okay.
But I thought, because my mom loves poppies, but I thought a California poppy would also work well.
Oh, that is
And it's a
very cute.
pocket
I like
shawl,
that.
but the pockets are on the inside so
Oh,
that you can grab it close
you
and
can snuggle
be
yourself.
warm.
That's
Yeah,
brilliant. I
yeah.
love that.
And then the California.
Yes.
There's the California poppy.
That's really cute. Now, is that Tunisian or did you do that in single?
Single crochet.
Okay.
Yep.
I like how clean your edges are.
Oh yeah, that's just single crochet. I didn't border it because it came
That's
out so
awesome.
pretty.
That's awesome. And
And
it
then the
seems like
one
it's
that I had done
very,
for my mom was a white background with a red
mhm.
poppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like it's got a lot of nice movement to it. What yarn did
Yes.
you use?
Yes. And this is just I think this is Red Heart.
Okay. Wow.
Yes. It's nice and warm. I like it.
Mhm.
And then
And
the
it's
last thing
I
I
like
had at
how
the
thick
fashion
it
show
is
was
because it wraps around the shoulders.
mhm.
Yeah.
This one was from my Texas book, my crochet Texas style book. This is a blue bonnet shawl.
Oh, that's pretty. I like that. Now, did you use a very like a gradient yarn, or did you
Yes.
change colors as you went?
No, this is a yarn bee cotton, self-striping,
Okay.
and it came out so pretty. I had bought
Now, do you
one.
have texture in there? I mean,
Hmm.
I like bobbles or something?
It's kind of a little bloom. See if I can get it up here to show you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
little
like that.
bubbles that make a flower.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
I like it, and it looks like a nice simple stitch. Now,
Yes.
these are something that you have patterns available for these to
Yes.
purchase?
Hmm.
Okay. And are they on your website, or are
Yes.
they on like you have
Website.
all of
Website on Etsy on Ravelry.
Okay. So all of your pattern platforms hold these.
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. And all of that, just for you people in the description box, it's going to be available in the description box, all of those links. Well,
And that
that's
was
really awesome. So tell me about how they styled those.
the blue bonnet shawl was on a woman. She wore a denim dress
Oh,
to
I
give
bet
it a
that
kind of
was
a
cute.
boho look.
Yes, very cute.
The I can't remember we needed a short model to do the poppy shawl because it was designed for my size and I'm short.
Okay.
Um, I can't remember what she was wearing, but she was so cute. And the purse was carried by a teenage model,
Okay.
and she wore just simple black dress, white shoes, and came out with a purse, and just adorable.
Yeah. Is there anywhere that we are able to like watch a video of this fashion
Yes,
show or
yes. Gatheringthreads.com
Okay.
or my Instagram has some. My YouTube also has some.
Okay. I'm gonna go dig it up and I'm gonna add it to your description so that they can watch your stuff walk the runway. Okay, so do you have on your website or anything, any resources that you want anybody to know about? That do you have videos that you have up or any kind of tutorials
Oh
or
yeah,
any
yeah,
kind of classes
yeah.
or
My
courses?
YouTube has some tutorials.
Okay.
Um, some beginning crochet tutorials, some stitches. This
Um,
little bobble stitch that makes the bloom in the blue bonnet shawl,
yeah.
that stitch is on there.
Okay.
Um, any pattern that I do that has something that might be a little bit difficult, I'll make a YouTube to
Mhm.
go along with it. But
Yeah.
I've also started doing how to crochet, beginning crochet. Like I've got a pot holder, a scarf, how to do
Okay.
them from scratch. From here's a
Good.
slip stitch. Um, I've got my blog,
Hmm.
myfingersflyblog.com has lots of free patterns.
Okay.
Um,
So when you do free patterns, do you also provide like a PDF upgrade so that if they
yes,
don't want to, okay,
yes.
just wanted to make sure that they know that that's available to them.
Mhm.
All right, that's good. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about designing itself. You as a designer, what kind of advice would you give to a new designer or a new maker or anything that you would want them like what do you let go of and what do you hang on to? What are the priorities for you?
Um, I think the first thing I would say is patience.
Mm,
Whether you're just beginning to crochet or knit or sew or anything, or you're experienced at it and you're just beginning to design, it's the same thing.
mhm,
Patience. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going
mhm,
to be an expert all at once. You have to learn at your own pace. Don't be
right.
frustrated by, oh, well, so-and-so's got
Mm.
this. Don't pay attention to what other people have. You have to do it at your own pace.
I absolutely agree with that. Like, comparison is definitely the thief of joy.
Yes.
Also, I wanted to ask you, what is your, I want to say, feelings? I'm trying to think of a different word, but my brain is just going blank. How do you feel about blocking? How important do you think blocking is?
For some things, it's essential. Um, uh, this little thing, if I can get the corner of it in here. See,
Yeah,
without blocking, everything's gonna. For clothing, I
break
think it's
down.
essential. Um,
Mhm.
for anything with cotton yarn, even a pot holder, I will block because
Mhm.
cotton yarn just looks so much prettier when it's blocked. So
Okay,
much crisper.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. Neve, one of my friends, she said the horse butts are cute. Patience in your own pace is a definite. But she did say on your portfolio page on Ravelry, so the link on your website isn't working. It's possibly incomplete.
Okay.
So,
I
but
will have to take a look at that.
she said for sure on the blocking, Lisa. Absolutely agree with that because I've found that, um, and I'm not picking at any other designer or anything like that, but I always notice when a designer hasn't blocked their stuff, just because I feel like blocking opens up the stitches and
Yes.
really shows what the whole thing is. And it just, the neatness part of it, to me, it kind of matters because I feel like if I'm going to put that much time and energy into making something, I want it to be
You
showcased.
right. Yeah. You
I
want it
want
to
it
be
to
its
be
best.
beautiful. Absolutely. Um, but talking about other designers, there's kind of an ongoing theme that it's always been there, but it's really beginning to rise up, I've noticed, is community over comparison or community over competition. How
Right.
do you feel about that?
Yes. You have to have the support of the community.
Mhm.
It's not it's not about competing and, oh, I got to have more sales than her. No,
Mhm.
it's everybody's got a different style.
Mhm.
Somebody's going to like mine. Somebody's going to like yours. There's plenty of things out there to design.
Mhm.
Plenty. I mean, like I
And we're
said, I've
not
got a list
islands
of
unto ourselves, right?
yeah, I've got a list of probably 5 years worth of projects.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing I love about designing itself is that even though we might be making similar items, the way that I'm going to put it together and the way that you're going to put it together are going to be two totally different things.
Hmm.
How do you feel about, okay, so I'm going to just use like the zigzag blanket as an example. I remember there was a period of time where uh, everybody and their brother was putting out some variation of a zigzag blanket, and it really just depended on like what colors they were using it,
Hmm.
and they called it a new design. And how do you feel about making yourself stand out?
I try very, very hard not to copy anyone. And if I have a
Mhm.
design that I have sketched out, I'll do a Google search. I'll search Etsy and Ravelry and Rippler and everything else to make sure it's not already
I
out
do
there.
the
If
same
it is
thing.
already out there, I give up. I don't do that design.
Oh
I
my
don't
God,
want
we're
to.
we're like
Yeah.
twin brains. I do the same thing. I do the same thing because to me, it's like, why not just promote whatever they have, and I'll do something else, and
Hmm.
it saves me time, it saves me energy, it saves me all kinds of things, and I might as well, if it's already there, why do I want to do it again?
Right. Right.
Why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah. Now there are other things like there are gnomes. I have quite a few gnome
Yeah,
patterns. Everybody does gnome patterns, but
yeah,
mine's got to be different, or I'm not going to put it out there.
yes, yes. So you're talking more on along the lines of, it might be similar, but it's not the same.
Right.
And yes, because I do the same thing where I will actually look and see if a particular stitch has been used a lot.
Mhm.
And if that particular stitch, if I can't find that, and if I look up, maybe what I'm thinking of calling my pattern, I'll Google that and see, like how many things out there have that same similar name,
Yeah.
and whether or not it's worth it for me to really put it out. And then, like sometimes I just have to get somebody else's opinion on a name. But yeah, I really like to try and make sure that whatever I'm putting out is different as well.
Yep.
And that I think that's kind of a hallmark of I don't ever want to disparage other designers, and I don't ever want that to come across, but pumping out patterns just for the sake of pumping out patterns. Is it that you just have a lot in your brain, you think?
Sometimes it is. And it's also the amount of time it takes to make a pattern. A lot of my patterns are just very simple, only take me a few
Mhm.
days.
Mhm.
So they come out quickly.
Mhm. Yeah. And of course, size depends too, but you and I were talking about like how long it takes you to design something, and you said that like an Afghan can take you a month. So
Mhm.
I'm completely in agreement with you. Do you ever have designs that you're working on and all of a sudden the part just isn't working, so it has to go sit in the naughty corner while you think about it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have that too, and it happens a lot with blankets.
And I
But
don't
yeah.
often do blankets. I've got quite a few baby blankets and toddler blankets.
Mhm.
Full size blankets, I rarely do unless I need one to go in a book.
Mm.
Um, every theme that I use for a book, I try to put a blanket in.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yes. So how many books
Okay.
do you have?
About 30.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of books?
Oh, I have crochet Texas style, which is all um, Texas animals, Texas regions, Texas cities, Texas work, flowers.
So it's
I
really a
have a Halloween
dedication to the
book, an
same
Easter
Texas.
book. My biggest one last year was my Christmas Advent calendar.
How fun.
Um, oh, I can't even think of them all right now.
Have you ever teamed up with a yarn design dyer or anything like that to put out kits or anything?
No, not yet. Not yet. I do have some
To put
kits.
that on your list.
Yeah. Um, I find the kits are not quite as popular. I mean, serious
Mm,
crocheters have their own yarn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Woobles has really kind of cornered that market. Do you know what I'm talking about? The
Mhm.
little amigurumi kits,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so yeah. I mean, you have to have something that people really, really, really want.
Yeah.
Um, but okay, so what kind of parting words would you want to leave with our listeners today? Like, how would you sum up who you are?
I don't know. I'm just a simple person. I'm just me.
Yeah.
Um, I love to crochet. I love to create new crochet designs. Um, that's it. I live a simple life. Other than that, I love to travel. I love sports.
And you have a pug.
Yes, I have a pug. He's probably
You have a
napping
pug.
right
We
now.
did, we did see him in the
Yeah,
background at one point.
yeah. Because I was ignoring him. He probably went to go take a nap.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I heard him rattling around before we started. Mine is behind me on a chair snoring right now, where she always is. But so how old is your pug?
Two.
2. Okay.
Mhm.
My old girl is 12 and a half. I'm not sure how much longer we have with her.
Oh.
But yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else that you would like to let everybody know before we go?
Um, no, nothing else I can think of. Just check out my. Here's my. This was my vacation hat. This is in the rainbow book too.
That's super cute. I love the floppiness of it.
So
And those bucket hats are so popular now.
and this is darn good yarn. They're silk recycled.
Mhm.
Beautiful. It
Is it?
washes
I've never
beautifully.
used it.
This was my first one. I bought this because of the rainbow theme,
Mhm.
and working with it was just a joy.
Oh, good.
And the bright colors. I mean, this is a infinity scarf with the same yarn. There we go.
Can we see it? Oh,
And I
yeah,
did
no,
it
that's pretty.
long enough to go twice. And then the hat I wore to the Bahamas, and I've already washed it, and you can't even see a difference in the color.
Wow, that's
It did
great.
not fade one bit. It's just beautiful yarn. Beautiful. I love
That's
it.
awesome. That looks like a very, very fun set.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of, I have a lot of elderly ladies in my life who are just constantly cold and would love that double wrap
Hmm.
scarf to, because it's something simple that they can put on.
Right.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate you so much, Lisa. Thank you for coming and joining me today. I hope you got to say everything that you wanted to say.
Yes. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. We'll have to do this again when you have another book coming out.
Yes.
And I'm going to go ahead and take you off camera, but stick around so I can say a proper goodbye. I'm just going to
Okay.
say goodbye to everybody else on the feed.
All right. Thank you.
And Nia says, love the vacation hat. And it's been nice getting to know you, Lisa.
Oh, so nice.
All right. I'll be right back. Thank you guys so much for joining us today on the Buzz with Busy Crochet. I hope that you enjoyed today's chat with Lisa. Don't forget that if you're on YouTube and you want to know when I'm going to be interviewing other designers, to subscribe and click the bell so that you receive the notifications when I go live. Also, make sure that you check out all of Lisa's links in the description box below. All right. Thanks again today for joining us, and I'll see you next time.